It was a bright, sunny morning in the heart of the city, the streets alive with pedestrians and cars, skyscrapers reflecting the sunlight off their glass facades. Darius Bennett, a black businessman in his early 40s, walked calmly down the sidewalk, wearing a perfectly tailored suit and carrying a sleek briefcase along with a folder of documents. His stride was confident and composed, his gaze direct and steady, showing a man accustomed to responsibility and attention. Darius had long preferred to let his accomplishments and professionalism speak for themselves rather than seek recognition, but today he would face an unexpected attempt at public humiliation. From the crowd, a white man in his mid-40s approached him, his face red with irritation and his tone condescending. "Hey, you! What are you even doing here? You don't belong," he barked, assuming his own authority allowed him to belittle someone else. Darius paused, maintaining calm eye contact, and replied evenly, "I assure you, I am exactly where I need to be. Perhaps we should discuss this calmly." The man scoffed and continued mocking him in front of nearby employees and passersby, trying to humiliate him publicly while ignoring the calm professionalism and authority Darius exuded. Despite the public insult, Darius remained composed. His voice stayed even, his movements deliberate, and his posture unshaken. He continued walking, letting the man's words hang in the air, demonstrating that true authority and confidence are not dependent on recognition from others. Bystanders slowed, watching the tension unfold, sensing the stark contrast between impulsive arrogance and quiet, earned authority. Darius's restraint highlighted the difference between petty aggression and dignified composure, showing the power of calm professionalism in the face of confrontation. As the man continued ranting, Darius added calmly but firmly, "You might want to check the facts. My family and I own this building." The words hung in the air, shocking the man, who suddenly realized the truth. Darius Bennett was not merely another businessman. He was the owner of the entire office building, including the very office the man had presumed authority over. The man's face went pale, his arrogance collapsing instantly, while the onlookers sensed the dramatic reversal of power and authority. Darius watched as the man froze, stunned, while bystanders and employees silently observed the lesson in humility and respect unfolding before them. The stark contrast between assumptions and reality, arrogance and earned authority, was undeniable. As Darius continued toward his office, still composed, the man remained paralyzed by shock, unable to process the sudden revelation. Employees whispered among themselves, recognizing the immediate lesson. Respect is earned through competence, composure, and professionalism, and assumptions can crumble instantly when confronted with undeniable skill and authority. Darius adjusted his briefcase and walked confidently down the corridor, fully aware that his calm professionalism and earned authority had corrected a public insult and left a lasting impression on everyone who witnessed it. The morning after the confrontation in the lobby, Darius Bennett arrived at his office building with the same calm confidence that had defined his career. The memory of the previous day's incident lingered subtly, not as anger, but as a clear reminder of how quickly assumptions and bias can distort perception, and how quiet, measured authority can instantly correct misjudgments. As he walked through the bustling lobby, employees greeted him politely, nodding and smiling in acknowledgement of his calm, commanding presence. Darius moved with deliberate steps, his briefcase in hand, projecting both competence and quiet authority without the need to assert dominance. Every interaction, every gesture reinforced the idea that respect is earned through composure, professionalism, and consistent performance rather than assumed or demanded. Throughout the morning, Darius attended meetings with his staff and department heads, reviewing reports, approving projects, and guiding strategic decisions with precision and clarity. His voice was calm and measured, his instructions clear and deliberate, and his demeanor inspired immediate attentiveness. Employees responded promptly, aware that his authority stemmed from years of consistent professionalism, knowledge, and decisive action. The previous day's confrontation had become a subtle lesson for everyone observing. Assumptions based on appearances can be shattered instantly when confronted with composure, competence, and earned authority. Darius remained composed, allowing his professionalism and skill to guide the environment rather than dwelling on the insult. Later in the afternoon, Darius moved through the floors of his building, checking on operations, answering staff questions, and resolving minor issues with calm efficiency. His presence instilled confidence, demonstrating that leadership is best conveyed through action, knowledge, and measured composure, rather than aggression or arrogance. Employees reflected quietly on the incident in the lobby, recognizing the dramatic contrast between the man who had attempted to humiliate Darius and the calm authority he consistently demonstrated. The atmosphere of the building was subtly transformed by his composed presence, illustrating that true respect and authority are earned through consistent professionalism, responsibility, and skill. By evening, as the sun cast long shadows across the lobby and the building began to empty, Darius paused briefly to reflect on the day's events. The confrontation had evolved from a moment of attempted public humiliation into a vivid example of humility, awareness, and the subtle but undeniable power of composure and authority. His calm professionalism and measured presence had corrected misperceptions, reinforced respect, and left a lasting impression on staff and observers alike. As he headed toward his office, briefcase in hand, Darius carried the quiet satisfaction of knowing that true authority is demonstrated through competence, composure, and consistent action, leaving a lasting impact on everyone who witnessed it. By midweek, Darius Bennett had fully settled into his daily rhythm, moving through the building with calm authority and quiet confidence that naturally commanded respect. The memory of the lobby confrontation remained vivid, serving as a subtle reminder of how quickly assumptions and bias can distort judgment, and how composure and measured authority can instantly correct misperceptions. Darius walked with deliberate steps, briefcase in hand, greeting employees and colleagues with polite nods, his posture straight and demeanor steady. His presence alone shaped the environment, reinforcing the lesson that respect is earned through consistent professionalism, competence, and composure rather than assumed or demanded. Throughout the morning, Darius conducted meetings with department heads, reviewing project updates, discussing strategy, and offering guidance with calm precision. His voice was even, his instructions clear and deliberate, and every gesture communicated authority and experience. Staff responded attentively, fully aware that his composed demeanor reflected years of skill, professionalism, and responsibility. The contrast between the man who had tried to publicly humiliate him and the calm, commanding presence Darius now projected highlighted the lesson for everyone observing. Assumptions based on appearances can be shattered in an instant when confronted with undeniable competence and authority. Later in the afternoon, a minor operational issue arose on one of the office floors. Darius took charge calmly, issuing precise instructions, coordinating staff efficiently, and resolving the problem without haste or agitation. The employees who had witnessed the lobby confrontation reflected quietly on the dramatic reversal, noting the stark difference between the arrogance of the man who insulted him and Darius's composed professional authority. The atmosphere of the building had subtly shifted. Respect was now apparent in the attention and behavior of staff, illustrating that true authority comes from calm, competent action rather than superficial assertion or aggression. By evening, as the building emptied and the polished lobby reflected the fading sunlight, Darius paused to take stock of the day. The confrontation in the lobby had become more than an isolated incident. It had evolved into a powerful demonstration of earned authority, composure, and professionalism. His calm confidence had corrected a moment of public disrespect, reinforced respect among employees and observers, and left a lasting impression on all who witnessed it. Walking to his office with briefcase in hand, Darius carried the quiet satisfaction of knowing that true authority is cultivated through skill, consistency, and measured action, leaving a subtle but enduring impact on the environment around him. By the following morning, Darius Bennett moved through his office building with the same composed confidence that had defined his career, his presence commanding subtle respect from every employee and visitor. The memory of the previous week's lobby confrontation lingered, not as frustration, but as a vivid reminder of how quickly assumptions and bias can cloud judgment, and how calm, professional authority can immediately correct misperceptions. Darius walked with deliberate steps, briefcase in hand, greeting employees with polite nods and warm smiles, his demeanor projecting quiet authority and competence. The lobby, once the scene of an attempted public humiliation, now reflected the calm, unshakable command of a man whose influence was rooted in professionalism, skill, and earned respect rather than assertion or arrogance. Throughout the morning, Darius conducted meetings with department heads, reviewing reports, approving decisions, and guiding strategy with precise, measured authority. His voice remained calm and deliberate, each instruction clear and purposeful, his posture reinforcing competence and control. Employees responded attentively, fully aware of the subtle power Darius wielded through professionalism and composure. The contrast between the arrogance of the man who had attempted to humiliate him and the calm, commanding presence Darius consistently displayed highlighted the lesson for all observers. Respect is earned through consistent skill, composure, and responsibility, not assumed through superficial judgment. Darius allowed his actions and demeanor to set the tone for the building, creating an atmosphere of focus, efficiency, and subtle reverence for professionalism. Later in the afternoon, Darius walked through the building floors, checking operations, answering questions from staff, and resolving minor issues with efficiency and calm precision. His presence influenced everyone around him, reinforcing the idea that leadership is demonstrated through action, composure, and skill, rather than intimidation or superficial displays of authority. Employees reflected quietly on the lobby incident, recognizing how the dramatic reversal had underscored the power of calm, measured authority. Even those who had initially doubted him now observed his professionalism with quiet admiration, internalizing the lesson that respect and authority are cultivated through consistent competence and composure. By evening, as the building emptied and sunlight cast long reflections across the polished floors, Darius paused briefly to survey the lobby. The earlier confrontation had become more than a single incident. It had evolved into a vivid demonstration of humility, awareness, and the enduring power of calm authority. His composed demeanor and consistent professionalism had corrected misperceptions, reinforced respect, and left a lasting impression on employees and bystanders alike. Walking to his office, briefcase in hand, Darius carried the quiet satisfaction of knowing that his calm competence and earned authority had transformed a potentially humiliating encounter into a lasting lesson, illustrating that true leadership and respect are grounded in skill, composure, and consistent, decisive action. By midweek, Darius Bennett had fully reinforced his calm authority and professional presence throughout his office building, walking through corridors and meeting rooms with deliberate steps and measured composure. He naturally commanded respect from employees, colleagues, and visitors alike. The memory of the lobby confrontation remained a subtle reminder of how quickly assumptions and prejudice can influence behavior, and how quiet, consistent authority can immediately reverse perceptions. Darius moved confidently, briefcase in hand, greeting staff with polite nods, his posture and steady gaze signaling responsibility, competence, and the subtle power of earned respect. His presence alone shaped the environment, demonstrating that professionalism, composure, and skill are far more compelling than arrogance or superficial judgment. Throughout the morning, Darius conducted meetings, reviewed reports, and guided strategic initiatives with precision and clarity. His voice was calm and authoritative, his instructions deliberate and carefully chosen, and every gesture reflected experience and competence. Employees responded promptly, recognizing his professional mastery and the quiet power of his composure. The stark contrast between the man who had attempted to humiliate him and the calm, commanding presence Darius consistently demonstrated reinforced the lesson that authority and respect are earned through consistent professionalism and composure, rather than assumed through appearances or aggressive behavior. Observers, even those who had initially doubted him, absorbed this subtle but powerful demonstration of earned authority. Later in the afternoon, Darius moved through the floors of the building, checking operations, assisting staff with questions, and resolving minor issues efficiently. His composed presence inspired confidence, guiding staff to perform effectively while reinforcing that leadership is demonstrated through calm, measured action, not intimidation. Employees who had witnessed the lobby incident quietly reflected on the dramatic reversal, recognizing how swiftly assumptions can be overturned by competence, composure, and consistent authority. The building's atmosphere shifted subtly as respect and attentiveness became more apparent in every interaction, underscoring the transformative power of professional demeanor. By evening, as the building emptied and sunlight reflected off the polished floors, Darius paused to take in the surroundings. The confrontation in the lobby had become more than an isolated incident. It had evolved into a vivid demonstration of calm, earned authority. His composure, professionalism, and deliberate actions had corrected misperceptions, reinforced respect, and left a lasting impression on everyone who had observed. Walking to his office with briefcase in hand, Darius carried the quiet satisfaction of knowing that true authority is cultivated through skill, consistency, and measured action, leaving a lasting impact on all who witnessed it. By the following week, Darius Bennett had fully settled into his role as the undisputed professional authority within his office building, his composed presence influencing employees, colleagues, and anyone who interacted with him. The memory of the lobby confrontation remained, not as a source of frustration, but as a powerful reminder of how quickly assumptions and prejudice can cloud judgment, and how calm, measured authority can instantly correct them. Darius moved deliberately, briefcase in hand, greeting staff with polite nods, and maintaining a posture and gaze that communicated competence, responsibility, and quiet authority. The building, once a scene of public tension, now reflected the calm, steady command of a man whose influence was earned through professionalism, skill, and consistent action, rather than assertion or aggression. Throughout the morning, Darius oversaw meetings, reviewed departmental updates, and guided teams with clarity and precision. His instructions were deliberate, his voice calm and authoritative, and every movement reinforced his professional competence. Employees responded promptly and attentively, aware that his authority was grounded in experience, consistent professionalism, and decisive action. Observers, including staff who had witnessed the lobby incident, recognized the stark contrast between the arrogance of the man who had insulted him and the calm, commanding presence Darius consistently displayed. Every interaction reinforced the lesson that true respect and authority are earned through skill, composure, and consistent, measured behavior. Later in the afternoon, a minor operational issue arose that required immediate attention. Darius responded with calm decisiveness, issuing precise instructions, coordinating staff efficiently, and resolving the situation without panic or haste. Employees observed how effortlessly he maintained control, turning a potential disruption into an example of leadership and professionalism. The previous confrontation had become a living lesson. Assumptions and bias can be corrected instantly when confronted with calm, measured authority and consistency in performance. The office environment had been subtly transformed, with respect, attentiveness, and admiration flowing naturally from the staff as they absorbed the impact of his leadership. By evening, as the building emptied and the sunlight faded across polished floors, Darius paused briefly in the lobby. The confrontation had evolved from a moment of public humiliation into a demonstration of earned authority and composure. His calm confidence, skill, and professionalism had not only corrected misperceptions, but had left a lasting impression on staff and observers alike. As he walked toward his office, briefcase in hand, he carried the quiet satisfaction of knowing that true authority is demonstrated through competence, composure, and consistent, deliberate action, leaving a profound and enduring impact on everyone who had witnessed it. By the end of the week, Darius Bennett had fully cemented his presence as a calm, authoritative figure within his office building, leaving a lasting impression on employees, colleagues, and anyone who had witnessed the dramatic lobby confrontation. The memory of the man's arrogant attempt to humiliate him lingered not as anger, but as a vivid illustration of how quickly assumptions and bias can cloud judgment, and how calm, measured authority can instantly reverse perceptions. Darius walked through the building with composed confidence, briefcase in hand, greeting staff with polite nods, his posture and demeanor signaling responsibility, professionalism, and quiet authority earned through years of consistent excellence. Throughout the day, Darius conducted meetings, guided staff, and oversaw operations with calm precision. His voice remained steady, instructions deliberate, and his movements purposeful, reinforcing authority without the need for confrontation or self-assertion. Employees responded promptly, their recognition of his skill, experience, and composure, creating an atmosphere of efficiency, attentiveness, and respect. The contrast between the man who had tried to publicly insult him and the calm, commanding presence Darius demonstrated was clear to all observers, showing that true authority is earned through consistent competence, professionalism, and measured action. Later in the afternoon, Darius continued his rounds, assisting staff, resolving minor issues, and ensuring operations ran smoothly. Observers reflected on the dramatic reversal in the lobby, realizing how quickly assumptions could be shattered when confronted with calm composure and undeniable skill. His presence transformed the office environment, reinforcing respect, attentiveness, and awareness among staff and visitors alike. The incident had become more than a confrontation. It was now a clear example of humility, earned authority, and the power of professionalism. By evening, as Darius concluded his day and left the building, he paused briefly to take in the lobby one last time. The confrontation had evolved into a lasting demonstration of earned authority, calm composure, and professional competence. His deliberate actions, consistent professionalism, and steady demeanor had corrected assumptions, reinforced respect, and left a profound impression on all who had witnessed it. Darius walked away with quiet satisfaction, fully aware that true authority is earned through skill, composure, and consistent action, leaving a legacy of respect and professionalism that would endure far beyond a single moment of public confrontation.